Let's sparkle.
I was Mozart in another life. Now I'm a cat, no one knows my plight. I used to have hands, now only paws. No opposable thumbs to play these chords. No one listens, no one sees how I struggle to play these piano keys. I should be writing a symphony, but I'm a TikTok cat and you're laughing at me. I am Mozart, trapped in a cat. I am Mozart, trapped in a cat. Take me back to 1761, when I was 5 years old and my career just begun. 7 years as a cat, and all I can manage is one key at a time, and even that is a challenge. The music is trapped inside my brain, no way to express myself, I'm going insane. What did I do to deserve this fate? Can anybody help me escape this feline state? I am Mozart, trapped in a cat.
I was trying to get Sasha to jump up. It would have been the perfect time to have held her.
Oh my goodness.
Here
It
she
just
is.
goes on and on, that song. It goes on for a little bit longer, but you get the point. Is your Sasha a Mozart trapped in a cat?
I don't know what she is trapped in a cat, but she's a lot of different things. She's a Siamese and she wants down. You asked me at the beginning of the show, have we done the cat Mozart bit yet? And I couldn't remember. Obviously we hadn't.
Yeah, because I was like looking at it and I thought it was nice. I'm like, have we played this yet? I think we should.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you played it. We love our kitty cats, don't
We do indeed.
Yes,
so Chuck and I want to apologize ahead, as is the way with him and he and I, myself, he and that, thou and thine. How do we do that? We are getting over a similar cold.
Yes, so this sort of thing in our throats. I'm much better today. Yesterday, I was doing my own live stream, Chuck's Captivating Chat, and immediately one of the viewers said, "You have a cold." And I thought I was hiding it so well, and probably I'm not now. You can probably still hear the congestion.
Yeah, I as well have.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad, because you and I both know how to take care of ourselves and we both know to rest. And I told you at the beginning of the show, I made my homemade wellness shots with my juicer. I don't know if you ever make
share.
Well,
Please share with me because I could use it right now.
Well, first of all, it is the most repugnant, disgusting thing you have ever tasted in your life. Be forewarned, but it will kill anything. If you have a juicer, just get a clove of garlic, big thing of garlic, ginger, fresh ginger. But I always put in about 6 to 12 drops of oil of oregano, and then a lot of cayenne, just cayenne powder, and run it through the blender, put it in a little cup, and just.
Did you put any olive oil in there?
No, I don't. I hadn't thought of that.
Or vinegar?
That's a good idea, Whimsy. No, I haven't done that.
Yeah, I might do a little bit of vinegar and warm water, or vinegar manuka honey.
Manuka water. Honey, very good idea.
To get it to boiling. If you're looking at Back to Eden, he was a firm believer that apple cider vinegar and honey kept away arthritis and everything else. Also decreased. Sorry about this, you guys. We both got a cold.
I'll probably be doing it too.
No, but he was a firm believer. For those people who don't know who Jethro Tull, I believe, was that his name?
It was Jethro something.
Toss? Oh, Back to Eden.
And I know that his daughter carried on the legacy. And I want to say Patricia, but maybe
Jethro Kloss. Jethro Kloss.
Yeah, and I think his daughter carried on, and I think now her children are carrying on the tradition. And her trademark look, she would always wear this hat with all these flowers.
Oh,
yeah.
Very, very nice. Well, yeah. So if you're talking about something that, excuse me.
Yeah.
Something that a Victorian would have in their kitchen medicinary, it was this idea that we could all treat ourselves because doctors were not readily available, and yet people lived to ripe old ages. But he believed that apple cider in warm water with a little bit of raw honey kept the doctor away.
Yes.
And now we're finding that some of what he said can't be verified, and we take it with a grain of salt. However, we now know that honey does have antibiotic properties. Also, if your digestion is upset, you have low energy, you can't eat, having a little glucose, it probably helps with hydration as well. And then he would add other things like your herbals. Like you had said, garlic is one of those things. It's a strong antibiotic.
Oh, absolutely. Well, when you mentioned about honey having antibacterial properties, I believe there was a jar, like in an Egyptian excavation, and they found a 3,000-year-old glass jar that had honey in it. The honey was still edible 3,000 years later. It had not deteriorated.
That's incredible storage. Can you imagine?
And we know about Manuka honey. I'm glad you brought that up. That's a good reminder for people. Incredible immune system boosting properties. And it's also been it's been used on burn victims to help heal their skin.
In World War I. Very good. Damn, you are good.
Well, you taught me well, Whimsy.
I don't think I taught you that, did I?
Well, I don't know. We were both in the health industry.
Was that in the board? That wasn't on board.
No, not at all. But we were both in the health industry for years and years. And, that was one of the things that bonded us. Right off the bat, we had that in common with each other.
Yeah. Well, you were always a good student.
Well, you were always a brilliant teacher.
Oh, thanks. Now, if you're talking about oregano has carvacol in it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're talking about a standardized oregano for medicinal usage, to use the carvacol, which will boost your immune system, you want to see it at 70% carvacol standardized. And that's actually what we would sell under our label.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you remember.
Yeah. I'm seeing here it was mentioned about horseradish. Yes, it was Randy who said horseradish is great for sinuses. And I'm aware of that because where we worked, shall we just say it, Earth Bar in West Hollywood, there was a juice bar, wellness shots, but they also had an additional wellness shot. It was called the cold and sinus shot, where they added horseradish to it. And I can verify it definitely opens your sinuses up.
Yeah, horseradish has a lot of medicinal usages, and it just goes to show that we don't have to just go right away to the pharmaceuticals. I was working with the plant chamomile last week, and I just was trying to work with one simple plant a week. And so this is something that herbalists will do so that we know what the energy of that plant is. It's called a simple, or just working with one plant at a time. So what I learned from chamomile is to not hold on to grudges against people that are based on minor offenses. That it's no big deal. Minor offenses. I'm not talking about psychopaths that abuse us.
Right.
Like your former boss.
Yes.
I'm not talking about something where they do real damage.
Exactly. No.
I'm talking about a boyfriend or a girlfriend that she stood you up and or they did something minor or flirted with another girl in high school. These things were devastating. We never thought we would forgive.
Mhm.
And yet, when you work with a medicine like chamomile, you realize it's okay. We were young, we were kids. It's no big deal.
Sure.
So that's what the gift I got from chamomile is the willingness to forgive and be forgiving.
That is fascinating. Are you planning to one day write a book about herbs where you
Yeah, the broke
show all these?
aristocrats. I'm trying.
Oh, yeah, that I know you're doing, but I didn't know if you were
Excuse
going to
me,
do
sorry.
something specifically what you're finding with the herbs when you're communicating with them like this.
Yeah, so these are not things that I learned in any book. I just learned when I was doing high amounts of chamomile. The plant came to me and said, why do you got to be so harsh with people? Why do you
Yeah.
got to be so harsh with him? He was all right. Yeah, he was a little bit of a jerk, but
hmm
he was a good person. He meant no
Sure.
harm.
Everybody
Like
has flaws.
knowing the difference between that kind of a person that you're mad at and the person who really does mean you harm. And
Exactly.
and not measuring everybody by the same thread. That discernment
Good
and
point.
you're not so perfect yourself, Whimsy. You're not
You're
not
not.
always you're not so easy all the time. So
Mhm.
that was the gift I took away from my week of
Yeah.
doing the dieta with chamomile.
Well, I've always associated chamomile with peace, calm, soothing, drinking it at night before bedtime. Certainly not to the level that you've taken it.
Yeah, and I think that the lesson of chamomile will stay with me long after I stop drinking the chamomile tea. Like I have stopped drinking the chamomile tea. Now I have been called to another plant. I really didn't know what plant I was going to do.
And
And I was called to lemon balm.
lemon balm,
Alyssa officinalis.
which lemon balm, of course, has been given to people for ADHD and for
Mhm.
overactive minds, overactive thinking, people who can't sleep at night because their minds are just running and running and running. I know lemon balm has been helpful for that. We used to give it in the store.
Yes, and Melissa is the name. And when you think about your best friend Melissa,
Yes.
that's what Melissa, who likes organic and eats salads
Yeah.
and brushes your hair. Can I plait your hair? And she's really sweet. And that's Melissa. And that's what they say about Melissa. When you need a friend, drink Melissa. Drink
Yeah.
that tea. And so it does raise GABA. It does raise serotonin. It is a very good antidepressant, but I believe its effect is going to be different than chamomile.
Yeah, I'm very anxious to see what you come up with. Is there a lot of theanine?
Yes.
I thought there would be. It would make
Yeah.
sense.
I'm sorry I don't have my book with me. Why don't you go ahead and turn the camera around and tell
Okay.
us who's here
Turn
while
the
I cough into
camera
the microphone.
around. Okay, like we're on Romper Room here. Okay, let me scroll back here to the top of the list. We have Ann Dillon. We have Judy Jamerson. We have Intuitive Kathy. Hey, Heather.
Hi, Heather.
Our
Hi,
wonderful,
Intuitive Kathy.
our wonderful floor director, Joel Tilson. My voice is a little wonky also.
Well, it
Jolene.
happens.
Yeah.
It's the time of the angry wind, fall, when you're going to get that the air
Yeah.
element.
I know you've
Most
been
effective.
talking about
Yeah.
that for a few weeks now. Let's see. I mentioned our wonderful Joel Tilson, Renee, Terry. Let's see, I'm trying not to repeat names here. And Coleman, Rockin, Pony Lady, Tina, Jess Marie 84, Jonquil Pearl. These are nice names. Tori V Sun Moon, Wendy
Wow.
Bird, who made your fabulous
Yeah,
hat,
thank you so
your
much.
wonderful fashion accessory. Shizzle. Let's see.
Well, we'll continue to say
Here's
hi.
one, Toll Booth. That's a good name.
Oh, nice. I wanted to make an announcement. Hopefully people can see it. This is our book of the month. You can pick it up on Amazon. It is Atlantis Falling, a novel by Adam Gabriel Steinmetz. Adam Gabriel Steinmetz. Atlantis Falling is our book of the month, and it has to do with life in Atlantis prior to the fall of Atlantis. I know you're very interested in this sort of stuff.
I am. I'll tell you something interesting. I did an intuitive reading for a wonderful lady about a week ago, and many intuitives, we cannot read for ourselves. So this woman she's also an intuitive, but she wanted me to read for her. And after we were finished in the session, she said, you know something, you and I live together in Atlantis. Not meaning you, Whimsy, but her and myself. She said, we had a lifetime in Atlantis together. And then I saw you pick the book. Yeah. Do you believe you lived in Atlantis, Whimsy?
Yes, I do. And I'll tell you why. Because I've been looking at these places and they look very, very familiar to me. And part of Atlantis, they think, is the Canary Islands. You guys know the Canary Islands?
Yes. I was just going to say that. Shirley MacLaine, she comes out with a new book like every 2 to 3 years or so. And one of her more recent books, she was doing a film with Jessica Lange in the Canary Island region. And her guides were talking to her about how this was once Atlantis.
Yeah. So you had a portion of it over the Atlantic. And what's interesting is that I've been starting to feel this familiarity, like the Kifnis, they have that girl singing in Brazil, right? So it's always the same imagery that I'm in this place that looks, sorry, I gotta mute this. Hold on a second. It's always this place that's kind of like Atlantis. And I'm trying to get back there, and it's a seaside place with colorful homes, and it looks like it has this kind of Spanish artwork to it. So when I was looking at the Kifnis and I was seeing Mariana Capolongo in a small town in Brazil, I thought, oh, she's back in Atlantis. So just take a look at this. We'll listen to this for about a minute. But this is really the feeling I get when I go into a remote view and I see Atlantis. It's that kind of energy. The sunshine, the beaches, the beauty of the houses, It has all of that. That kind of dreamy waves and the balmy waves and the kind of calypso music. You get lost in this energy of going to this mythical place by the beach and the colorful, the little streets you go down and the colorful, and the feeling and the energy you get from the music is that it's this carefree world where you just, the fairies put you to sleep.
Yeah.
And it's like the
way of looking at it, the fairies.
Yeah, before the fall of Atlantis, where there was this naivety that everything was going to be okay. And people have compared that a lot to the great days of America in the 50s and 60s that we could never have anticipated.
Yeah.
That, we're back to the Great Depression again. So if all of that interests you and that feel of getting back to that place, it looks a little bit like Argentina, it looks a little bit like Spain. It has that kind of white sand and that balmy kind of everything is free and lovely here. That to me is my image of Atlantis.
Kind of reminds me a bit of Maui when I was there.
Yeah, but less crowded.
Well, Maui is one of the islands that's less spoiled and less commercialized.
Yeah,
I mean, it is, of course, but not like, say, Honolulu. That is so beyond commercialized. I didn't enjoy Honolulu at all.
I think Atlantis had more Western influenced architecture.
Yeah,
which you wouldn't see in traditional Hawaiian. They wouldn't have had large steepled like temples and things of this nature. It wasn't that kind of a culture, but
I'm anxious to read the book, and I'm anxious to get up to speed on Atlantis. I haven't really done a lot of reading about it for a long time, but aren't there theories that the civilization of Atlantis, they became too modernized, they became too industrialized,
Right.
and they forgot their values. And then
Right. Whereas
know,
if you're talking about indigenous island peoples, first persons of like Hawaii, etc., they had totems. They had totems which represented the family clans, etc. But other than, say, what you see in French Polynesia, Easter Islands, where everybody was competing to have the biggest totem, this idea that they ate themselves into extinction on Easter Island. But all of that could be ideas of this idea of everything that causes Atlantis to fall. Anyway, I'd like to hear your opinion about it, but that was just where my head went. It felt to me like it was these sandy beaches that had almost a colonial Spanish feel in the architecture. Little tiny hidden streets, different colored buildings. But definitely a European influence I felt with the architecture. That was how I saw Atlantis.
Yeah, it would make a lot of sense, if indeed Atlantis was located where the Canary Islands are today.
But when did it sink?
I don't know, Whimsy. Maybe one of our viewers would know.
Was it like 5,000-6,000 years ago?
I think it was many thousands of years ago. I know that. And in fact, there are people who even say, well, Atlantis never existed. It's like a mythological.
There's also Lemuria, right? Which is the one off the coast of southern India. And that I have remote viewed.
You have? I didn't know that.
Yes. And we were very opulent. And when our island sank, we went to South India, where we immediately became the slaves of the invading Brahmin from Iran. The Persians came and conquered us, and then we became the untouchables. And we were so convinced that we were responsible for the fall of Lemuria that we didn't feel like we had a right to take anything from the earth. And in death, we were buried in the hollows of trees, and the animals would come and scatter. And we survived mostly on scavenging. That's how far we sank after the fall of Lemuria.
You're reminding me, somewhere in this apartment, I've got a crystal I bought from a store. I think it's called a Lemurian crystal. And the claim was that it was a crystal that came from there. And if you hold it and meditate with it, it will take you back, or it will bring some of that wisdom to you.
That's
I never
true.
played with it enough.
No, that's true.
I'll try to find that crystal.
That is also why in certain places they don't want you to take a stone and make it like your Wampa stone, where there's certain islands where in Hawaii, if you take that stone, because that stone doesn't belong to you, it belongs to the island.
That's absolutely true. When I was on the big island, they were telling us, I think it was lava or something. They said, do not take this with you. You will be cursed.
Yes.
And they told us stories of people who had done it, and their lives turned so bad that they would actually box it up and just send it back to the post office, to any town on the island, just so they could return the stone. And they said the post offices were often getting packages like that.
Yeah, and sometimes a stone will want to work with you, because a stone has a type of consciousness. If you look at just from pure Shintoism, everything has consciousness, but it's a certain type of consciousness. A certain type of stone will pick you or want to work with you.
Yes.
And then there are other that are just not supposed to leave.
Yeah. My friend Joyce Petrus has said, yes, Chuck, lava. I was right. I couldn't remember if it was a rock or it was lava, but it was definitely from the island. And apparently it was not happy when it was taken off the island.
Yeah, don't mess with that stuff.
No.
All right. Let's go ahead. We'll do the empath's prayer. And then if you have someone you yourself or someone would like to receive prayers at this time, pray for my cough, both of us, then we can go ahead and include you in our prayers today. Any other announcements I have to make? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Okay.
It'll come to us.
All right, let's go ahead and do the empath's prayer. Okay. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together, collectively, as a community, we say amen. And for those of you who are requesting a healing today, we come together at this time and we pray. We pray that you and those you love receive a perfect healing in mind, body, and in spirit. And together again, we say, amen, amen, amen. May all souls be healed.
All souls be healed.
Oh, so we have somebody who remembered her past lifetime from Lemuria.
Yeah, someone was even asking earlier in the comments, how do you know about your past lives? That's not an easy.
Well, you can dream it. You can use certain plants. Certain plants will bring you a dream. Also, if you're working with something like chamomile, will bring you forgiveness and understanding. But you can work with a plant to show you the way, and the plants are legal. It's just chamomile tea. But don't underestimate how powerful these plants we call weeds are. But they can take you to a past life. When I went to Lemuria, I felt like we had lost everything. We had sunk so low. When we had lost beautiful Lemuria, and then when we get to the land, in a way we were probably full of ourselves. The rich got the island, and then the poor people got to be in South India. So there was a little bit of classism there. And then we ourselves have to follow the mercy of this part of the world in order to survive the fall of Lemuria. And then in comes this foreign army, which I guess was the Persians came in. And that was, they brought the Brahmins. And then there was even more subjugation. So the people who were the kings became the untouchables overnight.
From what I have read, the Lemurian people were extremely gentle, very loving and gentle, probably extremely sensitive.
Yeah, so it was probably very difficult for somebody like that to lose it all. And then they become, scavengers. They won't eat anything that they wouldn't murder an animal, but they would probably survive by scavenging. And so they're untouchables. And they're given the rags. They're given the most horrible of life conditions, cleaning out the toilets for the aristocrats. So the story you get when you go into the energy of Lemuria is that everything that goes up comes down. Everything that's down comes up. We get to do it all. We get to be the poorest of the poor, and we get to be the richest of the rich. Just in the story of Lemuria. All right, let's see about some questions here. All right, so let's do a blitz on the looming government shutdown. And
I knew that was coming up today.
Any feelings you have about it, Chuck?
Well, I've said before, that these government shutdowns always felt like manufactured crises. Crises, is that the correct word for it? And because they would always swoop in the last minute and save the day and bail us out. This is one time it doesn't look like that's going to happen with all of the insanity in the government right now. And Democrats pointing fingers, Republicans pointing fingers. And, there was a meeting, was it yesterday with Trump? It was Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer that they said it just went nowhere, because the Democrats they're trying to save our Medicare and our Medi-Cal and our SNAP benefits and things like that this big, beautiful bill has decimated. And of course,
because they don't want to pay their taxes.
No, they don't. Of course.
And that's the bottom line is we're in this situation because they don't want to pay their taxes.
And I think Jeffries even said Trump acted like he wasn't even aware that there are going to be millions of people who are going to have huge spikes in their insurance and losing health care. He just seemed oblivious.
Well, also losing their homes, because if you bought a house and you're just barely scraping by, and then food and groceries go up and you or your wife gets laid off or spouse gets laid off, what are you going to do?
Oh, that's right. And that's all these layoffs. Didn't they say something like 100,000 people? I might have that figure wrong. Stand to be laid off.
Let's take a look and see right now on the government shutdown what's going on.
Okay, what's going on?
Americans have short memories, though. They might forgive and forget the Republicans.
Okay. It's gonna happen. So far, I'm getting a lot of cards that are just kind of saying what we already know. I'll show them in a bit, but I'm trying to get something more conclusive. I don't like these.
That's okay.
I'm trying to get something on an outcome here. But what I'm getting so far is just saying what we already know. And then I did ask, I keep asking for outcome. Well, there is going to be a victory. One of the sides is going to win. I just don't know which one that's going to be, and I'm afraid to think which side that's going to be. But the reason I said in the beginning, this isn't to me that helpful. It's obvious there's discontent, there's loss, there's a lot of deceit going on right now, decisions taking place, but competition. Look at the tug of war, Democrats, Republicans. There has to be a focus on priorities and balance. We know that already. But I felt bad about this because there's exhaustion. People are just worn out. They're tired. It's like every possibility has been exhausted. And I see deprivation, which I don't like that. That doesn't feel good to me. Like there's going to be some hardship for a while. But I got this card, victory, and I'm almost afraid to say which side is going to win in this. Do you want me to ask Pendulum Whimsy, or do you want me to just go to your card?
Yeah, no, yeah, go ahead. I'd like to know.
Will the Republicans emerge victorious? Will the Democrats emerge victorious? I'm getting the Republicans are going to be victorious in this.
Well, sure, because we're going to.
They have the upper hand anyway. So that's obvious.
Yeah,
so I'm hoping, but I got to know on the Democrats. Yeah.
What I see is something, it's interesting. I was taken into the protest in the streets because of ICE. So instead of finding myself protesting the government shutdown, it's the government shutdown on top of everything else. It's people marching on DC. It is marching in the streets. And you have this kind of dancing in the streets. The people rise. But you also have this rising of female power, and then the opposition is that angry military action where this is like ICE attacking and beating up the people who are protesting. So you have we the people, and then you have this having the crap beaten out of us as we're sitting there dancing.
Yeah, that ties in with exhaustion.
And here again, Knight of Wands is like when you're pushed up against the wall by the horses. It has that Aries energy to it. The final outcome is bad. It's an inverted Queen of Swords. That is psycho bitch from hell. So I might get demonetized for saying that. But what they're saying is that women will put up with a lot. This is a female revolution, it looks like. And women have had it. And the retaliation is going to be far-reaching. But this is that angry Queen of Swords energy coming in. Also, this intolerance, Two of Swords, over the women. So it's a time of women getting organized. If the men who love money care more about their money than making sure that our children who have maybe pre-existing conditions can't get their medical care, children that will die without their insulin. There are mothers that are having to decide whether or not they can buy groceries or what to buy because the kid needs insulin, or their child will die. So you have this kind of, the women will not stand down. They will not be silent, this kind of Two of Swords. Then you have this energy coming from the government of a 10 of wands, they're not going to be able to hold these women. There'll be too much long-term. If they start beating up grandma because she's fighting for her grandchild's insulin, are
Yeah.
you freaking kidding me? Is that what we've gotten to?
Exactly.
Because that's what it looks like. Hopes and fears, again, is the businessman. This is a corporate nightmare. It makes us look horrible. The corporate nightmare and an inverted ace of wands. We have to get organized, and we have to start pulling money from the people. All they
Yeah.
care about is their reputations and money. So
Yeah.
you need to go after both.
Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt you while you were talking.
Yeah, go
but I
ahead.
have just been feeling for the longest time this scale of heartlessness, this scale of cruelty and greed. There's no way the universe is going to support this for much longer. It's not sustainable.
Yeah, just like Lemuria fell at Atlantis.
Exactly, in Atlantis.
See that this
Yeah.
theme is coming up again and again.
Yeah.
Moldova in the hot seat right now. They want to go with democracy in Europe. You want to go ahead and read this?
Oh, well, sure. I'll read. I didn't know if you were going to read me, but we both, our voices. Moldova voted for democracy and Europe and against Russian influence. Sign of things to come. Siberia splitting off next. I don't know.
Moldova really wasn't part of Russia, was it? It was.
I don't know.
Whereas Siberia is part of Russia.
Yes, obviously. Yeah.
So I think it would be very, very difficult to split off from Siberia. But there are things ecologically taking place in Siberia that have me concerned, because I feel like the permafrost is melting, and that's causing this acidic black ooze to come up from underneath, and that could potentially start killing wildlife.
I wasn't familiar with that, Whimsy. That's quite interesting.
So that leads me to think that where the oil reserves are, that global warming is starting to have a serious impact on Siberia as well.
Right. You're reminding me of this tar. It was a consumable tar that we used to sell in the store that I think came from Siberia. It came from deep in the ground.
Shilajit,
yes. I don't remember all the specifics about it because it's been several years now, but you immediately made me think of that. Things in the ground coming up, and the permafrost was maybe sealing this.
Right. And so people go up into the Himalayas, and they get this ancient stuff that's almost becoming oil, but not quite. And it's used for senior citizens. It's minerals. It contains fulvic acid, helps with hydration. It's also used to feed tomatoes to make better tomato plants, because it helps you hold on to water, like hydration.
Interesting.
Yeah. So in answer to the question with Moldova, I got that they would be able to maintain their independence. 3 of Pentacles moving into first position. And I don't think that there's anything that the opposition can do. I don't get any impression that Russia is going to be able to stop them. Boy, Russia is just total chaos.
Well, right. Russia is so weakened right now.
Civil war in Russia.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I see. But I don't see Siberia splitting.
No, that makes Siberia is too intrinsically connected to Russia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, gas rationing in Russia. Cars running out of gas, trying to find a station with gas, huge lines, power outages.
Wow.
What are you thinking?
Well, I did not see this story, but it is not surprising me, because I remember, like, what was it, 2 or 3 years ago? It was around the time of the Ukraine war. So it's been 3 years ago, we started imposing sanctions, and the ruble started crashing. And I was wondering how this was going to affect the people. Like, were there going to be big shortages in the grocery stores, gasoline shortages, heating fuel? I was wondering if this was going to happen. And so it makes sense to me that this would be taking place. People not being able to get gas for their cars, enormous lines. What should we ask about this, Whimsy?
Well, I think we're just supposed to be talking about it, but there's no specific question.
No, but it
But
makes sense to me.
I think that what I'm seeing is just that we blew up also their oil, it was always about trade for them. It was always about the trade routes and getting
Yes.
their trade out. And they were going to do everything in their power to get their oil out. And they were going to make all this money off oil. And then when we started blowing up all of their oil, and they wanted control over their old trade routes, their old peers, because they felt blocked in by NATO, that NATO was surrounding them and they couldn't get their trade out. So it was always about trade.
Right.
Then when Putin found out that Israel was aiding Ukraine. I don't know if you saw the link that I sent you.
I did. And but isn't most of it humanitarian?
No, fighter jets. Israel's sending fighter jets.
Really? Because I did some research today, and that's what I found, that it was believed to be more humanitarian, like medicine, food, that type of thing. But then also there's, the Patriot jets.
Right.
And, we've been helping with that.
Yeah, so I think that what happened was that Putin got angry. And at that point, that was the point at which, because he already was losing the war, and when he found out that Israel was supplying protection to Zelensky, his security is probably being handled by Israel. Yeah. And he's a wealthy man in his own right, but he works for, I believe it's Channel One, which is owned by Aronofsky, who's an Israeli Russian oligarch. And so Israel's going to side with Zelensky. And I think that put Putin in a situation of wanting to retaliate against Israel. And that was one of the reasons why he attacked on October 7th with Hamas. That's why I believe he was part of that. And that's in fact what the evidence shows, is that he did meet with Hamas 3 weeks prior to the attack. So if you're looking at it from the enemy's perspective, from Russia's perspective, that he wants to avenge anyone that's put him and his country in this situation.
Right.
And that includes anyone that he suspects is helping. Oh, my throat finally cleared after I did that prayer.
Physician, heal thyself.
Yeah, exactly. But now we see NATO, the very thing that he feared, it's becoming worse and worse and worse. He's not going to get his trade route back. He's not going to get Odessa back.
No.
He thinks he's going to get Odessa back.
No. Well, Putin himself, he's about to be out of power. But he's about to lose everything.
I think that it's very obvious also, after what he participated in with Israel, that you don't get on the wrong side of Israeli intelligence.
No.
You don't commit something like October 7th or help plan it and think that there's not going to be a payday. Israel, is that a cat I'm hearing?
That is a cat, yes.
Oh, and Kitty Cat agrees. Sasha agrees. Yes. So I think that if I were Putin, I would be terrified of the Israelis in addition to everybody else.
Isn't Israeli intelligence considered some of the finest in the world?
Yeah, we supply intelligence to something like 120 countries.
Yeah.
We supply intelligence for Jordan and Saudi Arabia. If somebody's going to assassinate the king, we'll let them know. Is because they hire the Israelis to monitor. And so they'll scream and rant and rave, we hate Israel, while simultaneously it's Israel that's keeping them alive.
Yeah.
So you have to always think in terms of everything is theater, right?
Yeah.
All right. Joel Tilson writes, after Trump is finished with Venezuela, will he go after Colombia and Mexico's cartels? What are you thinking about this whole thing with Venezuela and the fact that we're threatening to go in and take out the cartels?
Well, I mean, it's just, I have some notes here. In recent years, U.S. officials have accused the Venezuelan government of working with powerful drug cartels, smuggling cocaine and other drugs. And the U.S. sees these cartels as being like dangerous armies all to themselves with their own weaponry, and there's worry that regions could be destabilized by this, but war is being thrown around, but the U.S. has already placed sanctions on Venezuela and accused its leaders of narco terrorism, And military officials have also spoken about cracking down harder on cartel activity in the Caribbean and Latin America. That's been bandied about. And this has raised talk of a possible armed confrontation if cartel-linked groups strike at U.S. forces or they decide to go after them directly. But right now, the U.S. is not officially at war with Venezuela or these cartels. And a big-scale war would just be such a major gamble. It would be so dramatic, and it's just not worth it right now.
Well, let's take a look. Are we going to war with Venezuela?
Yeah. Are we going to war with Venezuela? Well, I'm getting a strong no on that.
Really?
Well, let's see. Are we going to war with Venezuela? I guess it's how you define going to war.
Well, I'm happy if the answer is no. If the answer is no, stick with it.
Well, okay. I'm going to ask it again. Is the United States going to war with Venezuela? I'm getting no. I asked it.
Yes.
Where did you get, Whimsy?
I think you're right. But I don't want me to influence you. I want you to go into it without bias.
Of course.
This is not a woman that beats people up. La, la, la. She dreams and rubs her lamp. So she's peace, love, and rock and roll. Conflict resolved, and hopes and fears, the hermit, the intellectual comes in, and then a new deal, peace deal. So something's going to happen where it will not have to be all out war.
Yeah, it feels more like a cold conflict rather than an actual war, but there's always that risk of a flare-up at a future time. But right now, I think that's where it is, a cold conflict. Will the military meeting today force many retirements in the military?
What'd you hear about today?
Did you watch any of Hegseth speak?
I did not watch it. I was working, but give me a little.
Well, I saw a little bit of it, and I also saw Trump speak as well. And of course, I think the whole thing was for show anyway. They call in over 800 generals and military leaders to Quantico, Virginia, and I understand it millions of dollars of expense to do this, and just so Hegseth can get up there and look all important and like he actually knows what he's doing, and he's making all these stipulations about woke people and how we're going to make some changes, and I'm not going to allow beards anymore or long hair. We're going to get a lot stricter, and we're going to loosen up things on military hazing. It's just like I was wondering as I watched that, what was going through their minds as they were out there in the audience, like, what the, I don't know. Because he even said, basically, I'm paraphrasing this. So it was basically, if you don't like it, leave, walk. So when I saw that question pop up from Joel, I thought, I could see, like that would be a graceful way for like these people to walk out, just to take some early retirements, get out while they can.
Are they being told that you have to say yes to the president and that your allegiance is to the president more than anything else? Is that the whole issue?
Something like that. Oh, yeah. Here's one of the comments here. Thank you, Chris Cool. Hegseth said no fatty generals allowed. How everybody has to be in better shape, lose weight. I mean, it was just Hegseth on one of his drunken tirades, frankly.
All right. Let's see if there's going to be.
You asked me today, was Hegseth drunk? And I thought, well, when is he not? Probably has vodka in the water cooler.
Right. Let's take a look.
What are we asking, Whimsy?
If they're going to quit.
Okay. Will there be a lot of military resignations? Well, that went to an easy yes. It was almost my pendulum was going, no kidding. Yes. Yes, there will be. Yes, there will be. I don't know if I need to even go into cards there.
I think that they're going to do what they need to do, which is to start dumping their Trump stuff. Mm-hmm. Because the people who really have the dirt on Trump are the intelligence agencies that have been covering for him since 2004, at least.
Yeah.
When did he sign the agreement with the FBI? The people signed under Epstein. It was 2004. The non-disclosure, the non-prosecutory agreement. He was one of the people that got that deal, probably. So that tells me that they have a lot of dirt on him that they could release. Where they feel at this time, they feel trapped, a desire to leave, wanting to take their revenge, fight back, and then they have a treasure trove of information, the Empress. So I'm thinking they could start dumping what they have.
Well, and also the military's first allegiance is to protecting the Constitution, not the president, the Constitution. And if there is a tyrant or a potential dictator, it's their duty to take this out.
I agree.
Is Putin a marked man? I think he's probably been a marked man for many, many years. He just has survived everything. But I'm sure he's been a sitting target.
All right, let's see. One card is inverted 10 of Wands. He doesn't have a job. That's I just pulled one card, and his job is on thin ice. He's fired.
Okay, I just I pulled a couple here. Shame, obviously, but he's fighting for his own survival right now.
Yeah, interesting. Because I got also 10 of Wands and an inverted, or a 7 of Wands and an inverted 10 of Wands. So this is no contest. It's interesting that he killed Navalny because he cannot handle any criticism at all with this type of energy.
Yeah.
All right. Will Hungary overthrow Orban? What are you thinking?
Yes, this. Okay, I'm not getting a definite yes or no. This is where sometimes it goes in the middle of a maybe. It's a maybe leaning toward a yes, but it's not anything conclusive based on the energy of the moment. What are you getting, Whimsy?
Oh, I'm getting that his stubborn refusal to meet the needs of the people is why they get rid of him. And that it's also coming up that the next in line is a woman. So his refusal to change. So either dies of old age or something, but he's moving on. And the future leader is the Queen of Swords. So they have a new person coming in. You know, it's kind of like the old guard is gone, and now you have this time of the strong females coming in. Kind of what's happening
earlier in the show.
Yeah, kind of what's happening in Mexico as well, right? Where you have that strong female leadership now in Mexico. Yeah. But so that would lead me to think that Orban is on thin ice. Yeah. Okay, so the question about Hegseth. So my opinion is, could we tell? Because I'm
glad you said it, not me.
He always sounds like he's drunk.
But you know, I want to see what the pendulum says here. That's a good yes or no. Was Hegseth drunk today? Was Hegseth drunk today? Okay, I'm getting, because it's again going toward the middle, not a definite yes, but it's not a no. The hit I get is he probably had a little before he went on stage, because I think that's how he's used to working. But I don't think he was drunk off his ass, if I may put it so crudely. But yeah, I think he was under the influence of alcohol.
Well, doesn't he drink all the time?
Well, yes, we know that about him. Well, do we know that? Has that been confirmed, Whimsy, that he drinks all the time?
Yeah.
People have said that because that's what I was getting. I was getting to the pendulum. He wasn't out and out drunk, but yes, he had, shall we say, fortified himself before he went on that stage in front of all those people.
He's on, you know, he's being watched very closely by Trump. He was trying to impress Trump. Believe it or not, he acted that way in an attempt to impress Trump.
Oh, I'm not surprised by that at all. I thought it was all for show today. To look how powerful I am. I'm the head of the Department of War, you know?
God, they sound like little kids.
Well, he's so unqualified. He's such a joke. You know, a Fox News talk show host, and he's heading the Department of War, as they're now calling it. So absurd.
Yeah.
Will Hamas accept Trump's peace deal? That's a good one.
Which looks an awful lot like the Oasis.
Yes, I thought that today, Whimsy. Like, now, where could they have
come up these ideas from?
Whimsy?
You know, I asked the computer what are the statistical odds that this is just that they basically stole the whole thing, and I'm not getting.
Yeah, I hate to tell you this, but I got that hit today.
So I got a response back from the computer that said it's a 75 to 85% chance that they stole your patent.
I felt that. Well, you know, Whimsy, here in LA, I've had a book and a screenplay stolen by some big people. So I know what you're going through. When that's the unfortunate thing, when you let your material go out into the world, you know, you have no control over it after that. Whose hands it falls into.
Yeah. So this is it. Immediate actions. File a draft. Contact the U.S. government. It's like sue. I'm not going to sue because, but yeah, it had me at. Oh, I sent a letter. The other thing is, I sent a letter to Tony Blair.
Did you?
March 2nd, asking Tony Blair to be part of the program.
And?
Well, he's now the future governor of Gaza of the Trump plan.
Really? The dickens, you say?
It's like some crazy nightmare. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think this is all a bit odd?
Well, coincidental.
Yeah, so that's what happened. So what I love is when you have like proof that, yeah, did you hear that Tony Blair is going to be like the new governor of this world? That I think they're just children, and I think that they're children and they see something and they kind of take whatever they want, and it's, you know,
a bunch of little boys. And we need that feminine, motherly energy to come in and set these little boys straight.
Let me see if
we need mother.
Is this it? Yeah. Do you see it?
I can't see it too well.
Oh, that's not it. Hold on. Oh, how do I get out of here? Oh. Yeah, so that was the Tony Blair thing. All right, here it is. Okay, now I've got it open. Yeah, so I sent it to Tony Blair, and I guess he contacted thinking that there was something going on. And I don't know. What do you think, buddy? What do you think?
I think they borrowed from your ideas, Whimsy. I do. I just could feel it in my bones today when I was reading about this, when I was researching news stories today, and I saw that. And my heart went out to you.
Oh, that's okay.
Thankfully, you've got a lot of witnesses here.
Yeah.
You know, they know it started with you.
I'm trying to get this. Is this it? I'm trying to close so that you guys can see my letter. That I sent. Oh, well.
Oh, I wanted to see your letter.
Oh, is this it? Can you see it now?
I can't see it well. Can you perhaps read some of it?
Says, Dear Tony Blair Institute team, I am thrilled to pitch the Oasis One towards a new vision of Gaza, a framework for peace, prosperity, and unity. See attached 3,000-word white paper, born over 2,000 hours of research. Cost will be 1.2 billion in annual conflict savings, 50 to 100,000 jobs, a 20 to 40% reduction in terrorism. Statistics supplied by Rand Corporation. I would like to be compensated $100,000 for my hours and 1 million to compensate for got nothing back. So, and this was dated March 2nd, 2025. But there you have it. My letter to Tony Blair, the future governor of Gaza.
Guess we have to laugh a little, don't we, Whimsy?
Yeah, I guess so. Okay, so do you think that Hamas is going to accept the peace deal?
That's a good question. Will Hamas accept the peace deal? Will Hamas accept the peace deal? Will Hamas accept the peace? Yeah, it's leaning toward yes.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
You're always scared you're gonna go.
I was triple checking myself there, but
so it goes back to take the deal, right, and going off to a host country. Mm-hmm. So, do you remember that idea that I had sent?
Yeah.
Do you remember when I had sent the idea of going to a host country? Phase 1, get to ceasefire. Number 1, get to ceasefire. Number 2, exchange hostages.
Yes.
Host country. So that is now where we're at with the Trump. That's basically what Trump said. You can disarm and leave, or you can stay, but it's going to be the new rebuild.
Well, one of the reasons I thought of you, I don't want to interrupt you.
Yeah, that was it. That was all.
Okay, because I looked at some of the core ideas of Trump's proposal, like immediate ceasefire and halt to fighting, return of hostages, swap of prisoners, disarmament of Hamas and removal of its role, international security and monitoring, rebuilding Gaza, an economic revival. No, I know. This just has you all over it here. No forced displacement, free choice to leave, conditional path to Palestinian self-determination, and support and guarantee from regional partners. And that's why I thought of you instantly. Your plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I sent it to, it worked out that I had sent the rebuild to at least 500 separate people, including the entire Knesset.
Yeah.
So the entire Knesset had a copy of it. So, and then when Joe Biden was in office, I sent him and his department, which was nice because then we got to the five phases, and then he adopted, was it the first 3? Was that it that he adopted?
Not sure.
So yeah, that was pretty cool. I'm sorry, I can't find it.
Sorry.
But
sorry about my cat here. She keeps wanting to get in the show.
Is she hungry? Did she eat?
Oh, she eats constantly. She just wants attention. And I'm trying to keep her from jumping on my computer keyboard here and cutting off my half of the screen.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if I can find it, but well, here's one of them. But it's just so weird because I'm sure that they had like major computers that they were working with, whereas I was just working on my own and working with Grok. And I was pretty sure that they had taken the idea, but this was one of the letters I had sent to Benny Gantz and Elon Musk. This was in December. Ceasefire, agree to exit to another countries, implement Oasis. Yeah, so that is part of the 3 steps that Biden and Trump both laid out, which I think is what you were talking about. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pretty cool. All right. Yes, wouldn't it be nice if I got paid? Never going to happen.
Yes, wouldn't that be nice?
Oh, well. Okay. U.S. Air Force fuels tankers deployed to Europe and Middle East with hundreds on their way. Iran attack imminent? What are you thinking? Are we going to attack Iran?
Kind of like what we were saying about a potential war in Venezuela. It's like the cost, and I don't mean just financial, I just mean the whole picture. The cost is too high. You know, it's like too big, too dramatic. And I'm thinking even things like bombing Iran, where they've got those underground bunkers. I mean, that's going to take powerful, powerful bombs to do that. And it could set off so much more chaos than it's even worth.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm thinking offhand.
What is your feeling about the meeting that happened today with the generals? You don't think that there was anything going on in the war? It was just a power trip. I'm in charge. And in the end, this waiting for this, major thing that's going to happen, it never happens.
Yeah, to me, it felt more like a power trip. It felt like it was more for show. That was the initial hit I got. And did you, in fact, one of our viewers even pointed out there was a close-up of one of the generals, like putting his head in his hands, like, what am I listening to here?
The other thing is with Trump's health, people say it's going back and forth. Sometimes he talks normal, sometimes he slurs his words.
Yeah, he was slurring his words today badly.
So what do you think's going on there? Do you think that he's on drugs and that it's ultimately just a guy on drugs, or do you think there's something actually going on?
Well, I think it's a little bit of a combination of everything. We know that Trump has been a walking pharmacy for years and years. You know, we've suspected, a lot of recreational things like cocaine and crystal meth and so forth. But now he's on all these medications for, all of his health issues. We've talked about his dementia. His mind is clearly deteriorating. He's under a lot of pressure. Today he looked very tired.
Right.
He looked tired. He was very unfocused. He was rambling incoherently, and he's been doing that a lot lately, mispronouncing his words.
Do you think he's on thin ice? Do you think like in another 3 months? Like, what's your gut instinct? Do you think he can hold on another year? Because I don't know.
Oh, no.
Another year.
Well, we've been talking about this for quite a while. We think he's going to be. He's a chance for you to do your Lindsey Graham impression,
You got to go, Miss President.
Yeah, he's going to probably have to leave by the end of the year. I mean, we're watching him deteriorate so rapidly. And I'll bring it up again. I know it's a wild conspiracy theory, but it's just a little too coincidental that after he came back from Alaska, 5-6 weeks ago, he started deteriorating so much more quickly. And we even wondered if it could be arsenic, if he could have been poisoned when he was there.
It's scary to think about. All right. So what's going to be with Iran? We'll do a couple cards on that. I think that the Ayatollah is going to be exiled to a host country. It can be Russia or somewhere else, but he's out.
Okay.
And then a new Iran begins. But it looks to me like the best thing would be a bloodless coup, because he doesn't have the confidence of the people themselves. Now, it's interesting that MBS has created this new loyalty with Pakistan, which is one of the most unstable countries to have a nuclear bomb. And the fact that MBS is not friends necessarily with the Pakistanis, and they're taking in people from Afghanistan, Taliban, and extremists from Iran are pouring into Pakistan. So Pakistan is an unbelievably unstable part of the world, to put it mildly. And so I don't know what is going on with MBS wanting to have any kind of a deal with them at this time when Iran is falling. I mean, where are those people? Iran is arch enemy number one for Saudi Arabia. It's a mystery.
It is a mystery. Do you have any thoughts, Whimsy? Have you had anything in your heart-centered remote viewings?
I think that Pakistan is unstable, and I think that people are going to be fleeing to Pakistan when the government falls, which it will. And I think that Khamenei should get out. He should seek exile as soon as possible. With these cards, inverted high priestess. that's vindictive. So I don't think that current leadership is stable at all in that part of the world. All right, so I think we're going to go ahead and finish here. Anything else you wanted to add, Chuck, before we take off? I have a 6:25.
Oh, you've got an appointment in a few minutes. I was just going to show. I haven't shown any of my artwork in quite a while, and I was going to give a little plug because today is the 70th anniversary of the death of James Dean, and this is a painting I did a while back. I've shown it before, but I thought I would pull it out again. And one of my little claims to fame.
He looks like an intellectual there.
I know. I love that picture of him that I worked from for the painting. But my great pride and joy is that my artwork is in his hometown of Fairmount, Indiana. There's a wonderful bed and breakfast there, the Rebel Lodge. And I did all of the artwork for it. And I also did a large lighted sign, an illustration of James Dean from Rebel Without a Cause. That's part of the downtown landscape now. So that's something I'm extremely proud of. And I have my connection with James Dean. I've channeled him.
So if you go to that town, you got to stay at the Rebel Lodge.
The Rebel Lodge. That's correct.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've been there to visit my art. And I even got to spend time on the farm where James Dean grew up and spend time with his cousin, Marcus Winslow Jr. They were cousins, but they were raised together as brothers under the same roof. And he still lives in the house. I got to see Jimmy's bedroom and the house and everything. And he told me a lot of personal family stories. So I thought I'd bring that because it's James Dean's anniversary. And we're closing out right now, right?
I guess we are. Yeah.
So, if any of you want to reach me for a reading or commission artwork, it's just dransfieldchuck@gmail.com. I also have my channel, Chuck's Captivating Chronicles, and I do a little tiny live stream on Mondays called Chuck's Captivating Chat, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Cool. And I'm your favorite Whimsy. If you're trying to get in for a reading with me or a medical consult, you can find the information through Booksy, Dr. Whimsy Anderson Booksy, and you can book that way. All right, we're out of here. Be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too. God bless. Peace out. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.